Welcome to Investors Insights. Our topic today is Fed Chair World Series. We chose that topic because who will Donald Trump propose to be the next Fed chair? And with the World Series going on, one has to say who's going to be called out to the mound to pitch in this economic game. So Trey, as we started the discussions this morning, you had done a great analysis on the possibilities as to who Donald Trump might pick.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been an interesting, kind of like this World Series, a lot of ups and downs. Very interesting to see who's coming out of this. So there's really four candidates that are leading the way right now. There's the current Fed chairwoman, Janet Yellen, who would be very, very easy on monetary policy, which would be very good for, in theory, the stock market and the bond market.
Right.
It's kind of more of the same, but a little more hawkish when it comes to regulations. Then there's the perceived front runner, Jerome Powell, I think Greg's distant cousin.
For the record, I don't think he's in the family tree. I just think we need to throw that out. Yeah.
He would be, from a interest rate standpoint, very much continuation of current policy, so very, very easy, which is good for the market and bonds. But on the regulatory side, much more easy than a Janet Yellen, which people forget that post-crisis, the Fed has become an extremely powerful regulator when it comes to banks and financials. So that would be very important. Then you have the reformer, Kevin Warsh, who's very young. He's young now, but he was even younger when he was initially in the Fed back in the late 2000s. And then you have John Taylor, who is a Stanford professor, who would be considered more risky in terms of his policy would raise interest rates quicker. Over the long term, there's a lot of good and bad to both, but very rules oriented. All these are very smart individuals.
Exactly.
To kind of lead us into the next financial maybe crisis. It may come in the next decade or so. Who knows? Right. But these are all very strong candidates, but all very, very different in terms of how they would impact the market. And then there's always the chance. You never want to assume anything. There's always a chance that it could be someone outside of these top four.
We could have a surprise announcement.
Exactly, surprise announcement. It's going to come this week. The announcement's going to come. And then there's also the filling of the vice chair, which is extremely important. So we could get two of these four, which would be very interesting. So all these will have huge impacts on the market. We saw as the rumors were going last week, rates going up and coming down, and going up and coming down, depending on the candidates.
But let's elaborate on that for our clients that are viewing this vlog. Is you've talked about impact on the market, which translates into impact on their portfolio.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You see the
impact
value
on bonds,
change.
impact on stocks, overall economic confidence.
Confidence is huge. This is a big change.
Right. And speaking of confidence, actually, as we've got these kind of announcements coming out, at the same time, the economic data is still showing a lot of confidence.
Yes, outstanding. It surprised to the upside Friday on GDP for the quarter. 3%, which is a great growth level.
Yeah.
And what was interesting about that is that you didn't have the drag impact of the hurricanes in there. I mean, you did, but even if you smooth that out, it was still net growth 3%. And the core of that was a combination of consumer confidence and business growth.
Yeah.
That's the combo you want.
Which we've continued to talk about throughout our vlogs and keeping our clients updated.
Yes.
Yeah. So we think that's going to continue throughout the remainder of this year. We've seen economic confidence, consumer confidence overcome the news of the day.
Right.
And think that's going to continue to be a trend. Everybody agree with me on that? So on that news, we want to keep you updated. We think this is very important data that can have an impact on your portfolio. We're thrilled to see this kind of economic news come out, and we will continue to talk about it and express that as things change in this environment. You need to continue to watch these vlogs, to follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we will also continue to have those one-on-ones, those emails, and in-person meetings. So on that note, have a great week, and keep in mind that as we go into November, in less than 60 days here, we're going to have 2018. So it's going to be an eventful 60 days. Have a great week.